This evening we're 20 minutes south of Santa Fe on Interstate 25, getting ready to turn off here at Pecos. On our way to take a look at a 10-acre piece of property up on the way to Glorieta Baldy. This particular piece of property is located in the middle of the National Forest. It's the only private property in the entire Section 35, 640 acres. There's very little private property where we're headed. We're going to go down here to Glorieta, and then we'll be turning up the canyon. Where we're headed is up 8 miles up that mountain right there. That's Glorieta Baldy to the north of us. Well, we've met our owner here, and they're in front of us, and we're about 2 miles down from where we turned off for Pecos, and we're at La Cueva, a little village back here in the beautiful canyon. And this is the start of about an 8-mile trip up this road, on the county road and then National Forest Road up to the property. And we've reached the end of the county road, and now we're on Forest Service. We've come up quite a ways in elevation, and we're into a dominantly pine forest. We've been gaining significant altitude here, and we're up like halfway up the mountain. The mountain's back behind us. Most of this area has been heavily thinned not that long ago. Now, after climbing a long ways up that ridge line on the east side of the Cueva Canyon, coming back down to a valley. And this runs across kind of a plateau and then climbs back up the other side to Glorieta Baldy. Okay, we reached our turnoff here. This is 375M. And we're dropping off to the right, and we've gotten into the aspens for the first time on our trip. So we're up at 8,500 feet or so. It's beautiful going in here. It's much more rugged than the main Forest Service road, but you're really in the beauty of the great outdoors here. Big fir and pine trees, a lot of aspen mixed in. Now I think we're close to the property. We're breaking out into a meadow here. In fact, there's an old corral off here to the right. Beautiful meadow. This is really pretty. Just out of the blue, you're coming out of the complete forest, and then you hit this big grassy meadow. Wow, what a difference. This is something. You can see where we're headed here. This meadow narrows a bit, but it's very beautiful. Surrounded by a pine forest here. I'm standing on the southern boundary of the property. This big tree is about on the boundary, and we're looking back at the meadow that we just drove up. And at the bottom of the meadow there's a corral, and there's a spring, and a little seep of a creek goes out of that spring. And this is some summer range for Forest Service lease for cattle, because they've got water and a lot of grass up here. Now if I turn this way, we're looking pretty much on the southern boundary of the property. It rises up a little bit. Look back around here, you can see these are huge, huge pine trees. And there's a gigantic fir tree back there, the furthest in the back. You can see we're parked here more or less at the end of the road. The road does go on a little way, and there's an old trail that goes back up to the right. This goes up over the top of a rise here. We may go down there and take some pictures also. But you can see that this is all heavily forested. This is old growth. These are big trees. Beautiful country. Now I've just come up from the top of the meadow up here over a rise. As we get on the north side of this ridge, we've got aspen groves in here. I was hoping we might hit a little view down here, but I'm not sure that we will. And the road keeps going and drops down further. It appears there might be some views down here at some point. Obviously you could do some clearing and have some views to the north. I'm coming back down towards where we parked in the meadow. We're up here. I found an old no trespassing sign, some rocks. Don't know whether this is the actual corner, but it's pretty close to where it ought to be. I'm looking north. This should be the southwest corner on this side hill, and then back down this way would be the southern boundary. Same terrain. I've gone a ways north, not too far, but this is definitely wild and woolly country. Very beautiful. A lot of sign of elk in here. They've moved through. I don't know if they're staying in here or not, but they're certainly moving through this area. And you can see I'm up. Maybe see the truck through the trees there. So I'm up here at the end of the road, which has to be pretty much the north end of the property. You can see this is pretty rugged in here. It'll be interesting to turn around. This is a pretty good side hill. We've been coming along a little ravine. As we go back, I'll try to shoot some of the beautiful aspen groves that are along the way. But our next thing is to get turned around and get out of here. Coming back up out of that turnaround. That was exciting. No place to go but back up quite a ways, but you can see we're here. A lot of aspens in this area. You also see how rough this road is down here. And we're back out to the top of the hill where we first came in. And we're coming back down towards the meadow. We can go down to the other end of the meadow and peek at that spring, see whether it's running this year. Although it's not on the property, if you were up here, it'd probably be kind of pleasant to go down and get your feet wet. Well, we're back down to the corral at the bottom of the meadow. I think we'll see if we can sneak down here to where this spring's supposed to be. Here's the area of the old spring. Looks like it's pretty dry this year. At one time they had this all fenced off to protect it. That's not happening anymore. We'll wander down here and see how wet this is. Yeah, there's just a little bit of water here, but that's probably enough to pull some game in. Pretty little spot. So that's it. 10 acres out here in the middle of the Santa Fe National Forest, completely surrounded by national forest. I mean, there are only 10 private acres in this entire section. So if this looks interesting, give us a call.